Today's new drug, opening ceremonies in Paris.
Wet, racy, and wild.
It is.
In Paris.
It is kind of wet. It's damp, isn't it?
Yes.
Very damp. We're watching the opening ceremonies, and they're at night. It's not at night here yet, so it's daytime outside and it's night there.
Breaking
How does that
news.
work? How does that? So it's cool that it's like night there and day here.
What is a time zone exactly?
We have a weird world we're in.
It is.
So, but they are. The opening ceremonies are now. We'll talk some Jaguars football. We'll talk some Olympics. Matt Paula stops by from JOI in just a bit, talking about hip replacement. Old guys like me can relate to that. Not that I've had a hip replacement, but we can do that. We'll talk some Jaguar football. The Jaguars at camp yet again today, third day of practice. We were all out there. Hays and I were out there. We'll tell you all about that. You caught up with Travis Etienne.
That's right.
One of the most, in my opinion, maybe the most underrated Jaguar.
He might be. He might be because he's had two really good, productive years back to back, and no one really talks about him.
Yeah.
But he looked good in the receiving game today.
Yeah. He did.
Yeah, I think his role is expanding a little bit.
Yeah, so good player. So we'll certainly talk about him today. Pete Prisco at 5:00. He'll weigh in on the Tua deal, among other things. Headlines coming up at the 5:00 hour as well. So we are loaded up with stuff to do. End of the week on a Friday. We'll be back out watching practice tomorrow, but no radio show. So we'll kind of wrap the week of practice today. Let's start with Tua, though. Surprised he was going to get a deal, and a deal, Hays, with him is risky. I mean, he's injury prone. He is I don't know that I feel like he's a great player, and I've been consistent on that. He just doesn't move the needle for me as much as some of the others. But he got paid 4 years, $212.4 million. $167 of that is guaranteed. Very similar to the Trevor deal, right?
Yeah, it's slightly less than the Trevor deal, which makes sense because he's got such a, to your point, alarming injury history. You've got the hip that he dislocated, but I think the real concern is just what if he takes another blow to the head and suffers another concussion? He's still just 2 years removed from that season where, I mean, it was scary. I mean, watching him on the field, after he had suffered that head trauma, and so obviously there's more of an injury risk with Tua. But when he plays, he's an outstanding player. I mean, last year he led the league in passing with over 4,600 yards. He's thrown for over 25 touchdowns in back-to-back years. So he's done some good things when he's been out there. So I think if you're Miami, it's, no one wants to be the Cowboys, where the Cowboys are with Dak Prescott right now, where they're probably going to lose Dak Prescott because of how they've bungled what should be his next contract. And you can say, well, Dak's not that good, but he is a pretty good player. And what if you lose Dak, which I think is going to happen, now you've got to hope that you can solve it. And ask the Dolphins how long it took between Marino and Tua. I mean, it can take it takes decades. Not everybody's the Green Bay Packers. And so I think that's where the Dolphins were like, look, we like him. The rules of the game now help protect him. And he's got to be smarter about, and he played much smarter last year, was able to start all 17 games for the Dolphins. So, I think if he's healthy, it's a great move, but there is some risk involved because you do wonder if he were to suffer another concussion, would he be able to come back from it?
And apart from the injury, how good is he? Now,
he's good.
Yeah, in moment, I think.
I mean, he's not like elite good, but he's top 12 good.
I agree with that. I agree with you. That's the right label. He's a good player, but he's not somehow. I don't. And you're right. I'm talking about top 4 or 5 guys when I'm trying, and that's a very fair point. I would not take him over Trevor Lawrence for every reason. But you're right. I was saying, well, he's not Mahomes and Josh Allen and Burrow and Lamar. But you're right. I'm talking about top 4 or 5 guys, aren't I? Yeah. And so, why doesn't he move the needle for me? Is it that little push throwing motion? You think? Is it the injuries?
And he's been hurt a lot. I mean, the hip was gruesome that he suffered at Alabama, and obviously, and again, the concussions. I mean, seeing his arms, flexed and and they rush him back, and he gets another one, and I think that's it. He's just shown vulnerability And he's not a big guy. I mean, he doesn't have Trevor's frame. And so I think you worry about, does he have enough body armor to last in the NFL? And again, I mean, I also think it helps. I think Mike McDaniel is exceptional. So I think it really helps that Tua is with the Dolphins.
Right,
I mean, he's got a great offensive mind as a head coach. He's got 2 outstanding weapons at receiver that have speed that no other team possesses. They do a good job with the running game. Raheem Mostert, who's a journeyman, but had an unbelievable year for them. Achane is there. I mean, so they've got a lot of talent. But so I don't know that Tua would be, if you put him on the Giants, would he be much better than Daniel Jones? He'd be better. Would he be light years better? I don't know.
That's what I think.
So I do think he's a product. But I mean, I think he's a good player. And I think if you've got a good player at that position, you've got to pay him, even if you feel like you're overpaying him a bit, because you just can't go into purgatory.
So, all right. So we'll talk more about that as we move along. Pete Prisco is 5 o'clock. Did you see, JJ, where former JU star Austin Hays is headed to Philadelphia?
I did. He does. I don't think he starts for the Orioles. I could be wrong about that. I'm not sure.
He was an all-star a year ago.
Yeah.
But he's been in and out of the lineup this year. He's a good player, though. That surprised me a little bit. Randy Rosarina, chicken and rice. Was it chicken and rice?
Yeah.
On his way to Seattle.
Oh, okay.
On his way to Seattle.
So the Rays are just...
It's interesting. They're about 500.
He's been terrible.
He's barely hitting 2. He's at 15 home runs, but he's barely 200. He's barely over the Mendoza line. He's not been very good. But the Rays are the Rays. If they're not in it, they're getting rid of all their players. And so,
did he switch chicken?
Yeah, that's my question. Is it what's missing, the chicken or the rice? But the Rays are around 500. But in the American League, that doesn't get you much. In the National League, you'd be in that big group of potential wild card teams. But the Rays are probably not going to make it because there's a lot of teams. I mean, they're even 7 or 8 games behind the Red Sox, who probably will. But anyway, so so JJ, anything surprise you in the early going with any of these moves?
No, both of those guys, I'm not shocked. I mean, Randy Rosarina, definitely not shocked he was moved. He's been talked about a potential Braves guy for a while.
Right.
What's the biggest prize out there on the block that people believe will get traded?
Luis Robert from the White Sox. Would you say that's number 1?
Absolutely.
He's probably number 1. He's a really good player.
Skubal for Detroit, but they've been winning lately, so I don't know.
Skubal, the pitcher from Detroit. Robert, the center fielder from the White Sox. Brent Rooker, right fielder for the A's, having a huge year. 23 home runs, hitting 300. And all the A's ever do is move their guys. And he's 29, so an older guy, you would think. I think those would be the big prizes. So we'll see.
They have don't the A's have that closer who's amazing, Miller?
He's hurt now.
Is he?
He just
Fingers?
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
He
the
was
mustache.
good too.
I don't. What's his name?
Mason Miller, who throws about 103, but he was going to be moved, but then he's now on the IL.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it just went down. So we'll see. Hey, the Braves of Atlanta are heading to Citi Field tonight, JJ.
Dude, did you see how they lost last night?
I did.
It was epic.
Right? Did you see it?
It was a Little League.
The right fielder overran the ball. It was a fly ball to right field. He just kept running. It was bizarre. Wasn't it bizarre, JJ?
Not as bizarre as the top of the 10th inning, where the Braves decided to bunt the runner over to third. Everyone knows you get a guy on second, and then inexplicably tried a squeeze play,
right?
Knowing the Mets would have a guy on second to start their inning too. So and of course he didn't get the bunt down, and then the guy got caught running. The same guy, by the way, who missed the play in right field was the one who got
point
tagged
saving
out. So Ramon Laureano, another A's great.
It's a play in right field. It's a fly ball down the line. He just keeps running. He ran past it.
Which you don't see very often
in
the
never
major leagues.
You never see. He just ran past the
Little
ball.
League stuff going on with the Braves. It's really, really, really bad.
So here's my question on a Friday here on the First Coast. If the Braves get swept at Citi,
it's over. It might be over.
It might be. I mean, it might be over. I mean, they're leaking oil so bad. And the Mets, who just swept the Yankees, I mean, that's not a. I mean, are the morning guys going to fight? The morning guys might have a fight.
They
might be a hick and a Prosser just drop gloves and go.
I was looking through my phone, actually, and I had said some very inappropriate things to Dan Hicken through text very early in the season.
Right.
Not thinking at all it would bite me in the ass. But,
Here it comes.
Yeah.
Here it comes. So, but baseball it's a fun time of year in baseball. It really is. It's a fun time. So we'll talk about that.
Usually.
Yeah. Well, or not usually, based on
We switched spots.
Based on your prism that you look through. I'm sure you'll get this to headlines, but Charles Barkley said he's considering going other places.
It's going to have a lot of suitors.
You made a great point. Inside the NBA is good. It's really good. Good because of Barkley.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I would expect that. Yeah. I mean, he's making, I think, like, what is it, $21 million a year now?
Yeah. And he's got a 10-year deal.
Yeah. So I would expect that, and this litigation is so ridiculous. They're not going to win it. I mean, it's clear the NBA doesn't want them. I don't think any judge is going to say, well, you're forced to stay with this media partner because, I mean, obviously they gave them the opportunity to match it and they matched it. But I don't think in matching it, it guarantees the rights. I can't imagine that that's how the NBA would write the contract.
Right.
So, that's silly. And the whole thing is, but yeah, I mean, I think Amazon or whoever, one of these other three, I mean, they're going to put a pile of money in front of Charles Barkley. And he said it. He's like, look, I'm not stupid. If somebody's going to pay me, something wild, then I'm not going to retire.
Yeah.
And he's 61. He's at the top of his game. So, why wouldn't you enjoy the courtship of these, media empires that are going to throw millions and millions and millions of dollars at you and probably tons of perks to try and, I mean, he's got the ultimate leverage. Ultimately, this all makes Charles Barkley a big winner.
Right.
I mean, from a business standpoint. Now, I'm sure he's going to have some sentimental regret of not doing it with the guys that he's been doing inside the NBA with for so long, assuming they're not able to come over with him. But from a financial standpoint, I mean, this whole NBA rights thing is going to end up making Charles Barkley a ton of money.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. Quickly, before we take a break and bring in Matt Paulus, anybody jump off the page today? Anybody that you noticed?
It was a slow start, I would say, for Trevor in the offense. But I was glad to see it looked like they found some rhythm late. I thought Tank Bigsby looked good on
first guy I noticed.
Yeah, so that was good to see. But again, even though we're day 3 and you feel like, okay, well, we've been out there for 3 days, obviously stuff is happening. And sure, they're practicing, but it's still way early in the process in terms of forming any kind of opinion. So, I mean, I thought it was a fine practice. I mean, but nothing that I thought was overly dazzling on really any account.
Tank's the guy that stood out to me too. He made that one long run early, but he looked good to me. So, all right, we'll talk some Jaguars coming up later on. Speaking of running backs, Travis Etienne, the subject for Hays Carlyon one-on-one. That comes up at 4:40. But after this break, our friend Matt Paulus will join us from JOI. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now, a 1010XL Summer Olympic Update brought to you by
USAPark.net Airport Parking.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games, sponsored by Realtors. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. For the first time in Olympic history, the opening ceremony is not in a stadium. It's on the River Seine through Paris. The flag bearers for Team USA, 39-year-old LeBron James and 20-year-old Coco Gauff. In her Olympic debut, Gauff is the youngest American athlete ever to carry the flag in an opening ceremony.
It just means a lot. I was very emotional when I was talking to my mom about it. I wanted to cry when I found out, but my whole team was there, so I went in the corner and did it. I truly am in shock, and I don't take it for granted, and I'm going to try to take it all in, and I know this will be a memory I will remember for the rest of my life.
Team USA second to last on the Seine. The host France has the honor of going last. With this Summer Games update, I'm Brad Heller, Westwood One Sports.
There are any number of reasons you might consider selling your home. To move closer to family, live within a smaller budget, or just wanting a change of scenery. Whatever your reasons, having to figure out all the various housing market trends in your area may not be what you signed up for. That's where an agent who is a realtor comes in. Realtors have the expertise to help you find the right price and navigate the process to sell your home in a way that's right for you. That's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Granger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi folks, I'm Frank Frangie for Ricketts Electric. Now, any good lineup needs power. When I needed a power connection for our new Walk-Off Charities baseball park, I found the perfect partner in Ricketts Electric. You're going to love these guys, I'm telling you. The Ricketts family has been providing commercial and residential electric service for years. So call my buddy Zach Ricketts today at 904-320-5960, and you can find them on Facebook as well. You will trust them. That's Ricketts Electric, the city's best power connection. Call them today at 320-5960.
Looking for a new vehicle? Take a look at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. Now's the time to save big this summer. Choose from more than 250 new and over 1,000 used and certified pre-owned vehicles on the lot, or shop anytime at JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com. Hyundai has one of the top warranties in the business. Lifetime powertrain and a 5-year bumper-to-bumper warranty, plus 3 years free maintenance on a new vehicle. Give us the opportunity to earn your business today. Atlantic Boulevard, Jacksonville, or visit JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com. Welcome to the family.
Hi, I'm Frank Frangie, and I've depended on South State for my banking needs as long as they've been serving Duval. Whether you're saving for retirement, purchasing a home, starting a business, your goals are their commitment. With forward-thinking, personalized banking solutions and best-in-class service, South State is ready to help you navigate your financial journey. Connect at southstatebank.com or drop by any of the 5 local South State offices. South State Bank, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
It's soccer around the world, and here at home on the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour, Monday evenings on 10:10 a.m. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley for Soccer Talk, Mondays at 6 on 1010XL.
If you're from the South, you know all about fried green tomatoes and BLTs, so put some South in your mouth and get to Bono's to try the fried green tomatoes appetizer served with Reggie Ranch and one-of-a-kind Bono's BLT with smoked brisket, lettuce, and fried green tomatoes served with one southern side. Frank Frangie here, and I'm telling you, I love fried green tomatoes, and this sandwich is out of sight. So head to your local Bono's today. The fried green tomatoes appetizer and BLT is a summer sensation. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
The saying goes, the grass is greener on the other side. Well, that is actually true if your neighbor installed artificial turf. Lauren Brooks here from my friends at Sunshine Turf, a family-owned local company that will take your backyard dreams and turn them into a reality. Caleb can design anything from putting greens to pet runs, and if you have a pool, you'll definitely love maintenance-free turf around it. Visit sunshineturf.info to get a free quote today from Sunshine Turf. That's sunshineturf.info.
Denny Thompson here. Tackle burglars and protect your turf. Give yourself peace of mind catching everything around your home with Tyson Sound & Security's cutting-edge surveillance cameras. For safety and convenience, Tyson has you covered for all home cameras and security systems. I'm talking HD recording, night vision, and remote alerts, all from your phone or computer. Call Tyson Sound & Security right now at 904-762-1000. Tyson Sound & Security. Security and automation experts.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. With so many messages, we know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. We'll help you find doctors to get you better, and we'll work hard to maximize any recovery. Visit our website and look at our reviews to see how we've helped people just like you make this important decision. Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Bueller Air & Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's challenger, a paint color namer from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Irving Stapler.
Hi, Howie.
So the next round is word association. I'll say a word and you give me the first word you think of. Engagement ring.
Jeweler.
Gas station.
Fueler.
Aaron Burr.
Dueler?
Air conditioning.
Wow. Jeez. It's a toughie.
Come on, Irv. The sponsor's going to kill me now.
Oh, Bueller.
That's right, Irv. If your AC is struggling through the summer heat, the first name you should think of for fast, friendly, 5-star service is Bueller Air & Plumbing. The name to know to make sure you are cool.
Have a beer, Irv.
Cooler.
Stay cooler with Bueller. Visit BuellerAir.com.
After consulting with several orthopedic specialists about my constant knee pain, I chose Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and Dr. Chris Swanson to handle my surgery. Their professionalism let me know this team was the one for me. The surgery was very successful, and if I ever have a future need, I'll continue to trust Southeast Orthopedic Specialists to take care of me.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
All right, welcome back to the program. Glad you're with us. We do want to thank our friends from Big Chief Tire. Gosh, what a good group the Parmans are. 5 locations in town. The newest one is in Orange Park. They've got the location on the north side, 2 on the west side, of course, the Phillips Highway here on the south side of town. Big Chief Tire for automotive service, oil changes, brakes, alignments, and, of course, the best tires around. Matt Paulus is here from JOI. How you doing, buddy?
Good, guys. How you doing?
Good to see you. You all right?
Yeah,
We were talking during the break about when you're too old to work out, and I just realized I'm selling my weights today. I didn't know that until we had that conversation. So there's that.
No, it's good to keep working out. Just got to be careful with the amount of weight you're lifting and the things that you're doing.
And use machines,
weights.
right? I mean,
if you have the ability to use a machine, it's going to be a little bit more safe for most people.
I'm 65. I use dumbbells, but I don't use heavy dumbbells.
Yeah.
So if you don't have heavy dumbbells, you're okay, right? So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful. Obviously, you're doing like your main lifts, like your bench and stuff like that. It's fine. But if you start doing like shoulder raises, like lateral raises, anything above 15, 20 pounds is pretty stressful on the shoulders. So you got to be careful.
Yeah, I told you during the break. I do the important ones. Bench and curls and stuff. I'm never going to do the unimportant stuff like cardio, core, legs. Yeah, guys don't do those, do they? We don't do those.
Is military press bad if it's
shoulders?
That's another one. Better do a dumbbell, and it's better to stay light on that as well, because you're anything you do overhead, you're decreasing the space in the shoulder. It's called impingement. So you just got to be careful of what you're doing.
Yeah. Yep. Hip replacement is kind of our topic today.
Yes,
we did knees last week. Hays asked a question during the break. It's a good one. It seems like everybody that has a hip replacement is like the happiest person ever. It's like I mean, I've known a bunch of people that have Baselli's had both. I got one of my buddies that had one.
I'm gonna have one.
Yeah, they're just for kicks. You don't even need one.
Not to my knowledge.
I would not recommend that.
But I mean, but joking aside, they seem to go well, and the pain they relieve is amazing, right?
Yeah, hips are much more predictable than a total knee. They tend to do pretty well. The hip joint in general is a more stable joint anyway. So in the components they're using and this taking out the arthritic bone and getting these implants in will decrease their pain tremendously.
In terms of the rehab with a hip replacement, what are some things that you guys offer for that?
So, we can do a lot of things. The main thing is there's 2 different approaches to a total hip, right? So the traditional, the gold standard for the longest time has been what's called a posterior lateral, basically between like the side of your hip and your butt. That's where they would enter to do the do the replacement. In the past several years here now, they've developed an anterior approach, which is like through the front of the hip, like through your fold, like your groin fold in the front there, by your belly, kind of going in through that way. So they carry opposite precautions. So for the longest time, when you had the traditional hip done, the posterior lateral, you couldn't flex your knee past 90 for a certain set of time, and that was real difficult, obviously, for a lot. Putting your socks on, getting your underwear on, getting your shoes on. Yeah. Most of that requires you flexing past 90, right? So that was kind of the bigger push for the anterior approach. And so the anterior approach is the opposite precautions. You don't want to extend your legs, so it means move back behind your body. And that motion does not happen a whole lot in normal activities. Putting your shoes on, socks on, flexing your hip up, that happens a lot for people. But extending their leg backwards is something that was a little bit easier to mitigate people doing that. Both are very successful. They're showing about the same results. Pretty much that's going to come down to your surgeon and what he feels comfortable. I shouldn't say he, sorry. What they feel comfortable with, and making sure that they feel comfortable with the approach that they're doing, and then most people have a great outcome afterwards.
Matt, so what is the process? Do you shave down the hip?
No. So, they can. We do have some physicians at JOI that do what's called hip resurfacing, right? Where they can just replace like the ball.
Yeah.
You see, have the ball and socket, so they replace just the ball, or they replace just the socket.
Okay.
So you do have some of those, but a total hip is all of that is being done. And the main part is, so the ball goes into the socket, and the part that the ball's attached to is called the femoral neck. They're cutting that off, and they're pounding an implant into your femur. And it's probably the stem is usually 5-6 inches long, and that goes down into the middle of your femur. So it's a very stable, heals really well, implant that creates that stability again for the hip joint.
Modern medicine still amazes me that they can go into your hip, take the ball and socket out, drive this stake into your femur. And then
with an incision that isn't overly big,
it's
right?
like 2 inches big. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's pretty
the
amazing.
The technology is amazing. And then they, at the hip, the socket part, they ream that out, and then they tack a new implant into that area as well.
It's the fact, and to the point we started with, people are related. Their body feels so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, you're taking away that arthritic pain that they've had for years and years, and obviously as arthritis develops, you lose motion, your muscles shut down, you become weak. It's just a cascading effect. So when they get rid of that pain, they can start moving their hip again, their muscles start responding again. So going back to your rehab question, the big thing is getting them moving, getting their motion. So depending on which approach they had, we work in the safe ranges for that. And then it's a lot of, weight bearing and strengthening type stuff. So, side raises, clams, bridges, your glutes, very important for either approach that you have done. Hip flexors, you kind of, like doing like a regular straight leg raise, those you kind of got to watch. Sometimes you can flare people up in their hip flexor area with doing those. So you kind of find different ways to work that muscle that's not so stressful to those tendons that are crossing that joint. But big thing is glutes and lateral hip. That's your biggest drivers of how successful they will be afterwards.
All right, I have my hip's messed up, and I go into the JOI and I get a hip replacement on Monday. When am I walking, playing golf, and back to normal?
You're done with surgery in about 2 hours. You'll be walking about another 2 hours after that.
Really?
Yeah, they'll get you up in the hospital, or if you're doing outpatient, which some are starting to transition to that, they'll get you up and you'll be walking that day on it for sure.
And then normal activity, going for walks, playing golf, all that stuff.
Yeah, golf, I would say, is probably, the twist part, you probably want to wait like 2-3 months on that for sure. They say they probably let you start putting and chipping before that. Okay. But if you want to take a full swing, it's going to be at least, I would say at least 3 months.
Hiking, walking.
Hiking, walking is usually a couple weeks. They can. I mean,
Really?
I'm sorry, walking
Right,
like
not
for
hiking.
exercise,
Okay.
not hiking. Walking, a couple weeks they can start getting out, moving. Hiking's probably around the same lines as golf. 3-4 months down the road.
Is there anything that people in their 20s, 30s can do to try and avoid hip replacement, or is it just simply it's the wear and tear of your life, and if you're active, you're probably going to eventually going to need this?
Yes. Obviously the hip has what's called a labrum in it, just like the shoulder does. It's like a cartilage ring in the hip. And so we're getting better at now detecting tears in the labrum, and treating those labral tears before they become a big systemic problem, right? So if you can catch, it's just like a meniscus in your knee. If you can catch the meniscus tear early, and either fix it or repair, remove the torn piece, typically you have less damage to other surfaces in the knee. The hip is the exact same way with the labrum. If you can catch that labral tear early, fix it or try some rehab, strengthening to take the stress off of it, a lot of people will do better. In general, people, whether we have an ankle, knee, or hip patient coming into the clinic, we're always checking glute and lateral hip strength. Most people are weak in those. Like, you come in for an ankle sprain, we're going to be checking that too, because that is your stability for your chain, the rest of the chain down the line, right? So if you might be having an ankle problem because your hip is weak, right? And that's what we see in a lot of patients. So that's been a big focus for a while now, but I think it's just, a lot of people understand now, glute bridges, clams, lateral leg raises are all very important things to ensure your hips stay strong and you can do the activities you want to do.
All right, modern medicine. That works. Very good. All right. Are you good summer? Are you healthy now? Back, knees,
I'm
everything?
getting
You
better.
You
Yeah,
better?
I feel like I turned the corner finally with this back thing. So, but yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Matt, we appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
All right, guys. You too.
When we come back, you'll hear from Travis Etienne, the Jags' outstanding running back, the subject of a Hays Carlyon one-on-one. That's after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Jeff Prosser
Pitched 2 consecutive Little League championships,
on the drill
but are most likely to get slapped in his senior yearbook.
with Dan Hicken.
Once arrested for urinating on a moving vehicle, that is actually incredibly challenging.
Tell me. Weekday morning 6 to 10 on 1010XL.
This is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. We've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino canceled because real life came calling. Well, MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here, and it's changing the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your home. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action is in your hands. I love the roulette. It's so much fun. It is so easy, and you can't find it anywhere that's better than MyBookie. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL and a revamped loyalty program ensuring a host of exclusive VIP perks. Don't miss out on the revamped MyBookie Casino. Use promo code 1010XL. Don't forget that. The more you play, the more you win. Only with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Imagine driving a late model Corvette, BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, Honda, Chevy, Ford, and more, all at a fraction of the original sticker price. Visit Vaughn Motor Group's indoor showroom and browse a great selection of dream cars that are inspected with warranties. Before you make your next auto purchase, check out Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard or at vaughnmotorgroup.com for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Care you can see.
International soccer returns this summer. Don't miss Premier League clubs Wolves and West Ham in Jacksonville for the Stateside Cup, July 27th at Everbank Stadium. Tickets as low as $35 at statesidecup.com.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We will be perfect.
Training camp.
You drop a pass, you run a mile.
Nobody covers camp like 1010XL. Get daily training camp coverage brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing and Kingfish Pest Control.
Perfection
on 1010XL.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Did you know a metal roof from Prime Roofing will last 2 to 3 times longer than a shingle roof? If you want a better roof, think metal. Think Prime Roofing. Schedule your free estimate today at PrimeRoofingFL.com. That's PrimeRoofingFL.com.
Frank Frangie here. Ready to experience used-phoria? You can with Car Bravo at Nimnick Buick GMC, Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified dealer. Buying a certified used vehicle has never felt better. With Car Bravo, Nimnick Buick GMC can certify all makes and models: Honda, Toyota, Kia, Mazda, Ford. Nimnick Buick GMC is proud to be named the #1 Car Bravo dealer in the Southeast region and top 10 in the country. So shop online at Nimnick Buick GMC. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
I got to admit this. When they drafted Travis Etienne, I remember thinking 2 things. A, do you really want to go running back there when you need receiver and all this other stuff? And B, is he that good? I really did. That was my. I mean, and Clemson was very, very good, and the team was good, and he was the other good back in the draft, the Pittsburgh guy from Alabama,
Najee Harris.
Najee Harris went first, and then he went after that. But I wasn't sure, and boy, I'm glad they drafted him. He's a terrific football player.
He really has been outstanding, particularly considering how his rookie season never really got off the ground because of the Lisfranc injury.
Play, yeah.
And so for for Travis to have had the 2 years that he's had, both years he's gone over 1,000 yards rushing. Not that that's a huge plateau in a 17-game season, but still, it's a nice accomplishment.
Sure.
And his receiving yardage has really developed in terms of he went up 10 yards a game from his second year to his third. So now you're talking about a player going into his fourth year, but it's really his third year playing.
Right.
And he averages for his career 86 yards of offense a game. I mean, that's a good output, and I think that number can increase this season. So really excited about Travis Etienne's potential.
Yeah, 2,000-yard rushing seasons, 1,125 2 years ago, 1,008 last year. Last year, in addition to the 1,008 on the ground, 58 catches for 476 yards. So he's a good player. And you know what? He runs inside better than people think. You know he's got a burst. I'll still remember the first interview we had with Press Taylor at Episcopal. Remember that? And asked him about Travis Etienne, and the first thing he said is, "Speed's real." Remember that? Mm-hmm. And he said, he looked. He said the speed is real, and it is. It certainly is. So Travis Etienne is a terrific football player, a big part of that Jaguars offense, and the subject of this Hays Carlyon one-on-one.
We're pleased to be joined with Jaguars running back Travis Etienne here on 1010XL 92.5 FM, and it's great to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's great to see you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks. How's your family? Everybody good? Good off season?
Yes, sir. It was a great off season. Everybody's really in the mood for football.
Yeah.
I feel like we're a football family, so everybody just can't wait to get back to seeing us play on Sundays and Saturdays.
Yeah. 3 days in now, how do you feel like it's going so far for the offense?
3 days in, I feel like we're getting our feet up under us. I feel like it's great for us all to be back together, and we're getting back into that rhythm. And it's great to see all the guys out there doing that thing, and just seeing flashes of what we're going to be able to do throughout the season.
Travis, give us a sense for guys that didn't play football. When you get the ball on a handoff, what immediately do you have to read, and kind of take us through that process of the vision and discipline that you have to execute the play the right way?
I read, but basically understanding the blocking scheme. Most of the times, like a wide zone, we're basically reading outside in, and I'm just seeing where the deepest end is playing, whether a 9-tech, 6-tech, that means outside or it's head up, and that basically kind of give me. It kind of helps me just kind of play the game within the game. You can't predetermine anything in this league because things change post-snap. So you get your pre-snap, pre-snap something and post-snap validation. So basically just like I get my pre-snap read, but post-snap I got to continue to see it. So basically just trusting the backside. That'll be the biggest thing for me this year. It's just trusting that my guys are cutting things off backside so I'm able to cut it up and just be able to play within the scheme. So it's a lot that goes into it, but it's really all trust that comes to it at the end of the day.
You've had 2 outstanding seasons coming into this year. What's your confidence level like of being an elite player in this league?
Confidence is key in the NFL, and I learned that my first year, and really just understanding I belong here. And I feel like this year is about just me going out there and showing that I know who I am and that I belong here, and I want to be one of the best guys who ever touched the ball.
In terms of the passing game, it seems like, obviously you were very successful last year over, I think it was like 58 receptions. Press Taylor told us earlier today they want to overexpose you to the pass game in training camp, and you had some good reps today. How's that element of your game coming along?
I feel like it's great. I feel like that element of the game has always been there. I feel like we just need Press to call it a couple more in the game for real, but I feel like Press knows that, and I feel like what we are in this offense, this is my third year in this offense, and Trevor's third year in the offense, so we all kind of know what to expect, and we just really know what Doug is thinking. And I feel like Press has a lot of confidence in us now, just us being our third year in this offense. He's going to just utilize us a lot more and really create matchups for us to go out there and be successful.
How much does that help you, that continuity and familiarity of Doug and Press and Rauscher and just down the line with what they expect of you?
It helps a lot. It kind of goes back to just like I would say, like college, like your first year, your freshman year, you don't really know much. You're just kind of in there. Sophomore year, you kind of get your feet wet. Junior year, you kind of becoming that guy. And I feel like this year for us, so we kind of seniors in this offense, and we know what to expect. We know what's going on, so there's no excuses. We just got to go out there and execute now.
What are some important things that you want to get accomplished this season?
I just want to be the best player that I can be. I want to go out there and just take it one play at a time, each and every game, and give myself to the team. I'll go out there and just do whatever I can to help win games and let the chips fall where they may.
Travis, in terms of looking at some of your teammates, it's been a fun offseason. We've seen Josh Hines-Allen get a big deal. Trevor got a big deal. Tyson. How much has that helped the locker room to see guys that were drafted here get those extensions? And obviously you could be a guy that's in line.
It helps a lot. It helps a lot. It just kind of gives you that confidence that they want to keep the team together. They want to keep the core together. They believe in us and they believe in what we're doing. And that just gives us confidence to continue to do what we're doing going forward. And knowing that if we keep working hard, we'll be rewarded.
Travis Etienne, thank you so much for joining us. I know it was a hot practice out there, so best of luck to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I really appreciate Travis's time. Fantastic young man, and I think he's going to have a huge year. I mean, again, the three guys that we've talked to this week, I think are going to be three of their top 5 players this year: Christian Kirk, Trayvon Walker, and Travis Etienne. And then obviously I think you're going to be looking at Trevor and certainly Josh Hines-Allen. But I think in terms of what Etienne can be, particularly if they've been able to really upgrade the offensive line. Again, he ran for 11 touchdowns last year with really not much of a line. And I think he's established himself as a receiver like we talked about. I mean, to me, he is somebody that can get to that 1,600 yards of offense, maybe even 1,700 yards of total offense, and really establish himself as one of the best backs in the NFL.
3 things can really help him this year, Hayes. They're obvious things, but I'll point them out anyway. Number 1, the line's got to be better. The line wasn't very good. If Mitch Morse and a healthy Brandon Sheriff and Ezra Cleveland here the whole year make the interior of that line better, then that's the obvious thing. The second thing is I really do think Tank Bigsby looks good. And I think he can take some pressure off, some carries off. You know, not just carries, some pass pro, just some plays off. If you're not in the game as much, I think that'll help. So obviously, if the line's better, I really think Tank Bigsby is going to be a good back in this league, and that he can share some of the load. But the other thing is, and I've been saying this, if you can stretch the field vertically in your passing game, obviously it opens up those crossers for Christian Kirk and that middle space for Evan Ingram, 2 really good players. But it also makes it easier to run the football. If the opposing secondary is dropping and bailing out of the gate and you run a draw play or whatever, then there's running lanes that quite frankly haven't been there. Nobody, and you thought maybe Ridley would change that a little bit last year. But the reality is nobody's been afraid of the Jaguars throwing it over the top for a long time. Bro, even when they were good in 2017, when they had the good year, and obviously they're good because of their defense, and Leonard Fournette had some big runs in that, but you still weren't worried about the ball over the top. You still didn't have that. And so if Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. can get deep and cause the defense to be concerned about that, that really helps the running game too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you hope the Jaguars are playing with the lead more often than not. And then that obviously gives Travis a chance to add to his numbers as well when you're trying just to burn some clock and get to the locker room with the victory. So I think Travis has an outstanding chance to have a huge year. I do wonder if he'll see a second contract here just because the rooms at the inn are filling up and he does play a position that general managers are not looking to throw big money at. So it does make me wonder if he only has a couple more years left here, but they could be outstanding years. And even with that, if this is a special season and next year's a special season, Etienne has a chance to really be part of Jaguars lore, even if the rest of his career is somewhere else.
Well, because here's what you do with running backs. Here's the real reality: is you get a really good running back, you get him for your 4 years. You ask him to play. You might extend him, but what is he? He's 25 now. Mm-hmm. Okay,
and with them, they obviously have the 5th-year option that they've picked up for Etienne.
Right. So you get him for 4 years. You get him to play on the 5th-year option at age 26. You franchise him if he's good enough at age 27, and now he's been on your team for 6 years. He's about to become a 28-year-old running back. You move on. And I hope that doesn't happen. I hope Travis gets a long extension here because I really like him.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he plays as long as Frank Gore played.
Yeah, and I'm talking generically, though, not just Travis. But usually you get a running back. He plays 4 years. He plays on the 5th-year option. If he's good enough, you franchise him. And then, quite frankly, after a running back's been here 7 years, most places, you do move on. That's just the way of the league. And again, I hope it's not the case with Travis. I like Travis. I think he's a really good player.
Yeah.
And I hope he gets a contract extension. But that's kind of how running backs are.
That's how it works, and it's only going to move more towards that. And so, yeah, it's sort of enjoy him while he's here, but it could still be he's already given you 2 good years. He could certainly give
years,
you 2 exceptional years coming up, and then yeah, possibly a third. I mean, I think the tag could very much be in play. I mean, obviously that's a conversation for down the road, but I'm sure as the Jaguars build their long-term plan and they project what their 25-26 cap is going to look like and who is going to be here, really now that they've done the deals they've done, and this is sort of getting us off topic a little bit, but the only massive deal they have coming next year is Trayvon.
Right.
Trayvon will be a massive deal. But everything else, I don't really think. I mean, again, barring somebody having a really special year that we don't see coming, it seems like everything else, like maybe you tag Cisco, but maybe Cisco just is allowed to test the market and go elsewhere. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. By the time they get to that year, maybe they are able to comfortably tag ETN. And again, the running back number isn't going to go up,
right?
Because all the deals are going down. So it'll be easier to tag running backs 2 years from now than it is even today, and that's the only position you can say that about.
Yeah, I'll say this: and I agree with you. I think to your point, they've built their team. They've built the framework of what's going to be the team the next 2 or 3 years. They're going to sign somebody in free agency. They're going to draft a good player at 32. But for the most part, the framework of this team is built. And that's, again, how many times we said this? When you're in your window, this is what it becomes. And so we'll see if that window turns out. I hope it does. I like where they are. I like their team. We'll see what happens. Let's take a break. Let's keep it on the NFL. Let's keep it on the Jags. What does Pete Prisco think of the Tua deal? And what are his expectations for the Jags here in training camp? Some NFL talk after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Want more Jags? Subscribe to the 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. Looking for more in-depth coverage of the Gators? Subscribe to the 1010XL Gators YouTube channel. Need your FSU fix? Well, subscribe to the 1010XL Seminoles YouTube channel. Your favorite team, one specific location.
It's the Big One sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Buy a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Corolla for just $1,000 down and $288 per month. Or you choose a pre-owned 2020 Camry, RAV4, or Tacoma for just $1,000 down and $388 per month. Arlington Pre-Owned has over 400 used cars in stock and more than 100 vehicles under $18K. And you even get 30 days to love your pre-owned purchase or exchange it. Shop the Big One sales event, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
The following people are under the influence of no air conditioning.
Oh, man.
Is it ever hot? I can't get up. My legs are stuck to the chair.
Can guys go through menopause?
Why?
I think I'm having a hot flash.
Don't let no AC happen to you. Call Duck Duck Air Conditioning, available 24 hours a day, and they'll fix it right the first time. When your AC system needs a repair, it's time to call Duck Duck Air, 904-862-6769, or online at duckduckac.com. Duck Duck Air Conditioning, a division of Duck Duck Rooter.
Hello, sports fans. Hicken here. Let's talk skin. I and Beaches Dermatology are reminding you to wear your sunscreen. If you're an active parent hanging at the fields, in your boat to fish, or like to chill at the sandbar, wear sunscreen. But if you're the one that decided for years it's not cool, guess what? Cancer isn't cool either. So when grabbing the clubs for your tea time, gassing up the boat, or grabbing the chairs for your kids' games, make sure you bring the screen. Any concerns now? Give Beaches Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Baseball is back. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, presented by FIS, takes the field this season at 1-1 Financial Ballpark as the AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins. Tickets start at just $5, fireworks after every Friday home game, and kids run the bases after every Sunday game. JackShrimp.com. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable, family fun.
The restaurant of the day is Flame Broiler. Try the happy hour special, a mini chicken bowl with a drink for just $6.45. Order online at flamebroilerusa.com or check out one of 5 locations across town. Flame Broiler, simply healthy.
This is Hays Carlyon for Harold & Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold & Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold & Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
Calling all disc golf enthusiasts. Play It Again Sports Jacksonville wants your used discs. Now through June 29th, earn cash on the spot plus $5 in sports bucks for every $25 of disc golf gear we buy. Play It Again Sports also stocks new discs from your favorite brands like Innova, Discraft, Discmania, and more. Stop in today and shop our huge selection. Merrill Road near 295 in the Merrill Station Shopping Plaza or online at playitagainjacks.com.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting. Dave and Ammon here with Zero Res. So Ammon, you have worked for Zero Res since you were 9 years old. What makes Zero Res the right choice for cleaning carpets and tile?
I can think of 3 simple reasons. We have the best process, the best people, and our promise to do the best cleaning possible every time.
So what deals does Zero Res offering for this month?
July is National Carpet Cleaning Month. So for home carpet cleaning, we're offering $49 per room, and for businesses, we're offering 20% off.
Sounds like a great time to get your carpets cleaned. Zero Res.
Spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Vegas, baby. This is Taylor Dahl from Helmets and Heels, and we're sending one lucky listener to Circa Resort and Casino this December. Win a free 3-night stay with $200 food and beverage credit, plus a daybed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive 143-foot screen at Circa, you'll huddle up with the Heels at the Overhang Bar for our pregame tailgates on Friday with drink specials and giveaways. For a chance to win this all-in package to Circa with Helmets and Heels, enter at 1010XL.com/Vegas.
And if you've already booked your flight to Vegas for the big game and are still searching for accommodations, Circa Resort and Casino has a special rate just for Jacksonville fans. Mia here, and for just $500, get a 3-night stay at Circa, $200 in food and beverage credit, plus a day bed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive screen, it's the world's largest hot tub party. The all-in package is only available till August 30th, so act now. Book and join the Heels in Vegas. Visit CircaLasVegas.com today.
Tired of changing out bad sod year after year? Get it done right with Roundtree Sod. Big or small, they have it, and always supplied farm fresh. For a lush, legendary green lawn, call 7414-SOD for a free estimate. 7414-SOD. I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Tight end Evan Ingram spoke at Jaguars training camp this morning and shared some insight on how this year's Jaguars team is different this season.
There's a lot different for sure. I think it starts with the players. It starts with the leaders in the locker room. I think we're just moving different a little bit. I'm not going to go into detail, some of the things that we talked about and came together about, but we're all moving different. And I think there's just a lot more sense of urgency, a lot more belief in what we can accomplish.
Ingram, who reeled in 114 balls for 963 yards last year, is especially looking forward to the added weapons in the pass game like Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. to help him and Christian Kirk out. An upgraded pass attack will be exciting to watch as the year goes on. It's 87 degrees at 4:57. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time for all things Jaguars and NFL with Pete Briscoe. The Briscoe Report, presented by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Showtime.
On the Frangie Show.
Showtime is located right there at Phillips and Shad on Phillips.
Man, they've got all the good stuff. Cards, collectibles. If you're a collector, you got to get in there. Big store. It's clean. It's easy to get to. Great staff in there. Head to Showtime today. That's for all the collectibles or the collectors. You can also see them on the social channels, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Pete Prisco joined us now from CBSSports.com. Pete, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
We're fantastic. Camp is ongoing. It's football season. A lot to cover. Hey, I can't get sold on Tua. I need to be more sold than I am. Pete, I don't know if it's that kind of that short arm throwing motion, the fact that he's been hurt a lot. Yet he got the big deal today. Did you like the deal? Was the deal the right deal? What do you think?
Yeah, the deal's fair, Frank, and I think he's the perfect test case and Exhibit A for you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Yeah.
You're right. He hasn't won big games. He hasn't won playoff games. He's wilted in some big moments. He's put up some gaudy stats at times, but early in the season. And sometimes you look at that and you go, okay, well, let's see what he does against, good teams and big games, and he hasn't done it. And so that's the concern. And you're right. It's 100% accurate on that. And I have the same concerns about him. But I also sit here and say, if they let him leave, what are you doing? And you look at next year's quarterback class, for example. It's not great. So you're hoping and praying you get a guy. Now, somebody will emerge, but I think it makes sense to do it. It's not a crazy deal. I mean, it's below Trevor's, and so I think that's smart from the Dolphins' standpoint. Jordan Love's going to get his next week. And a year ago, if you would have said Jordan Love, or he might get his today, as a matter of fact, or tomorrow. But if you would have said Jordan Love was going to get a long-term extension with a big money number next to it last year at this time, people would have told you were nuts.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Pete, you talked about that, that willingness to go into purgatory if you don't do the deal. That's what's happening in Dallas. I mean, Dak Prescott, I thought, was pretty clear a day or so ago that, hey, a lot of all the great quarterbacks I grew up watching ended up playing somewhere else, played for a second team. It almost seems like that's become inevitable, that Dak Prescott and the Cowboys aren't going to be able to work it out. How do you see that?
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I still think they're going to talk and try and get something done before the season, but he's got all the leverage. I mean, he's in a great situation. He also led the league in touchdown passes last year, but he's also a guy that also hasn't come up big in the big moments. So, Dallas can negotiate from that standpoint as well. So I do think they get it done. I think that they're smarter than that to try and go back into the pool and try and get another quarterback. Here's what you do if you don't have a quarterback. You got to try and piece it together. And when you do that, you're going to have those aberration seasons. You're going to have a season where you run the ball goes your way. I mean, you witnessed it a couple years ago when Blake was the quarterback. I mean, everything goes your way. You run the ball and you end up, within a whisker, but then it falls off. Then it falls off. Sustainable success comes with that position. So you have to have that guy, and I think that's where the Cowboys are with Dak Prescott.
Hey, let's talk Jags a little bit. I know you'll be here at some point in a week or so, I think. Interesting to watch. I'll tell you, for us, again, I'm not worried about who's throwing picks and who's not yet. It's early on. But I will tell you, they look bigger, longer, stronger than they have. You can't tell other things. You can't tell how they match up with other teams yet. But this whole thing of they weren't physical enough, at least on the hoof, they look way different to me. I can tell you that. What have you heard from people that have been out of practice like we have?
Yeah, big. And even looking at some of the pictures of those guys, they look bigger physically and posing. And I was with the Titans for a couple of days, and they don't look big. That's not a big team. This is a big team. It's a big physical team now. And even Josh Allen looks like he's added, 10 pounds of muscle. I mean, he's just a big guy. So they had to get that. They had to get tougher. They had to get more physical. I'm not so much worried about being physical on the defensive side of the ball. It's just, can they get back to being physical on the offensive side of the ball? I think that's the number one thing for the offense. They have to be physical, have to be able to run the football.
Did you like the deal for Tyson Campbell?
It's a little rich. I mean, it was a little rich. I get it. I understand it. I mean, in your book, he's your number one corner, and he can be a quality top, 10 corner. But for what he's done so far, you're probably projecting that, which is why you gave the deal. I mean, he hasn't been – he's had moments now, but he hasn't been a top 10 corner in this league, and yet he got a big deal. So I get it. He's the next in line, but that's a bit rich the way I look at it.
What do you think of him? Well, what do you – I mean, in 4 years – we look at Tyson Campbell. What will he have been? Your opinion?
Good player, probably not a great player.
Yeah.
I don't ever, at least me right now, I don't see him being one of the top, 5, 6, 7, 8 corners in the league. I mean, could he be 10? Sure, but I don't see him being that. Now, in fairness to him, he's got a new defense, and we're going to see get a better look from him. They haven't always had a great pass rush in front of him, so I think that's going to help him. But to be considered one of the top corners in this league and to get the pay he's deserving, he's got to be a better football player than what he's been.
Doug Peterson still doesn't want to reveal who's going to be calling the plays when we get to the regular season. He was asked the other day and just the first day at camp and said, well, Press is calling them today. But he is aware. He was asked if he knew about Shad's feelings on it, and he said, yes, I'm aware. What do you make of how Doug Peterson is handling the play calling situation?
How many bubble screens have they run so far in training camp? They run a lot?
They ran a couple today.
Then Press is still. I mean, he's still calling the plays. I think he's just got to get away from that. You know me. I'm driving the ball down the field. Enough with that stuff. Last year they were too hamstrung, but I know why they were, because the offensive line wasn't very good. Trevor was fed up and all. But I think Doug should call the plays. That's not a slight on the offensive coordinator. I just don't think it was. They got into any rhythm. And Doug's a great play caller. And so I think he's got to call plays. But he was more, and you guys know this, he was much more involved than they like to lead on as well.
Yeah, he was very. In fact, they did the game plan together with Trevor, as you know. And the only thing that changed is what happens on game day. So that'll be – I think that's a little bit of an overrated story, but we'll see what winds up happening.
Hey, by the way, you should tell him when you see him to say, hey, Stefanski came right out and said he's calling plays. Come on, Doug. Pick it up. Let's go.
Pete, the buzz around here is pretty palpable. I asked you this before, but now that this whole thing started, where are they going to land in that AFC, in your opinion? No one expects anybody to expect them to land with Kansas City and Baltimore, but once you get beyond those two teams, I don't know that there's maybe Houston, but I don't know there's another team that's appreciably better than the Jags starting the season, right?
You know, it's funny. We talk about the Texans, and the national perception of the Texans is unreal. And then you go around, like I said, I was with the Titans for a couple of days, and you hear the same stuff that we hear from people at the Jaguars. But those guys got to learn how to win consistently when you're the target. That was the problem Jacksonville had last year, and now the Texans are facing the same situation. It's a young team that won, surprisingly, and now you're going back out there with a tougher schedule, the first-place schedule, but not only that, people are coming for you every week. And can the quarterback do it again? So I think there's a lot of questions about the Texans. I'd still say they're the team to beat in the division, but it's no slam dunk, and I think Jacksonville will push them. I think the Titans are probably the third team and the Colts are the fourth team. It just depends on if Anthony Richardson can stay on the field. I mean, that's been a problem with him so far.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You said that you saw the Titans up close. What do you make of Will Levis right now?
Boy, he had 2 good days when I watched him, and I'm a big believer in him. I mean, he can throw that football. They've tightened up his motion a little bit, and he's a guy last year. When you watch the tape on him and when you talk to people around that building, he took a beating. And yet he stood in there time and time and time again and made the throws. And so I watched him for 2 days. I watched 2 days of practices, and boy, I'll tell you what, he's made the right read. He can rip the ball. Callahan, who has worked with Peyton Manning, Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford, and Callahan's a pretty honest guy. He loves them. That was in large part why he was drawn to that job. So I don't think Levis and the offense necessarily is going to be the problem. They're one of those teams that are they physical enough? And, they drafted the kid Sweat from Texas, and he's going to start, but he's 370 something right now, and they got to get him down in the 360s. Simmons but this is something the Jaguar fans don't want to hear. Jeffrey Simmons looks as good as I've seen him in 3 or 4 or 5 years. He's in unreal shape, and I think he's going to have a big year for them. And then there's, of course, pass rush issues. Arden Key, who should be in Jacksonville, but Arden Key is going to be one of their top pass rushers. So they have some questions, the right side of the offensive line. But, boy, they're going to be much better than they were a year ago.
And we'll do this again closer to the season, obviously, after you've seen some teams at camp and in the preseason. But what to make of the rest of the AFC? You don't have to go team by team, obviously, but the teams that are on the periphery that might be okay, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh in that division, the Chargers with Harbaugh now. What to make of the AFC teams that maybe we don't talk about a lot? Where do you see who might jump up, in your opinion?
Well, I think when you look at the Bengals, when Burrow's back, they're back. I mean, that one's pretty easy to me. I think they become the favorite of the division, even ahead of Baltimore. I really believe that. I think that. Remember, they were going to win that game at Baltimore when he got hurt. They were winning that game, and they would have been right there for the number one seed. So I think when you look at it, they're the team that's going to get really significantly better just by having him on the field. I worry about the Steelers. I know they have some good things, but I worry about that quarterback situation. But then you go to Harbaugh. Did you see what they were raving about Herbert's ability to run the other day? Stop it. Please stop it, Greg Roman. That's not what you want. I get it. You want to run the football, but that's not what you're trying to prop up Justin Herbert. He's got a cannon for an arm. Let him throw it around.
What about the Jets?
Big pressure year for Saleh, and I wonder sometimes when the coach is facing it, how does he handle it? Because that's a big part of being a good coach is how do you handle the tough situations? And I think last year he kind of wilted. And granted, he lost his quarterback, but he had real problems. And Saleh, he's an easygoing guy, and he wasn't last year. He started reading the press clippings, and he changed a little bit. So I think he's got to get back to being himself. If Rodgers is healthy, they're going to be good too. I think Buffalo's still the team to beat in that division, but the Jets are probably number 2 in that division.
I wanted to ask you about, get back to the Jaguars real quick. Do you think Trayvon Walker could have a huge third year?
And I'll be honest with you, I've been critical of that pick, and I thought he got better last year, and I think he has a chance to really have a good year this year. Provided he's done the work. You guys have watched him the first couple of days. Are his hands better? Are his moves better?
It's hard to tell because they're not, but
yeah, I'll tell you this.
But I'll say yes.
I'll tell you that I probably don't have a good enough eye for that to really tell you that. What I can tell you though, he's in ridiculous shape. He looks lean. He's still big but leaner. Does that make sense? Just as big but more lean. So I don't have a good enough eye for the hands, but I can tell you this, Pete. He looks in phenomenal shape.
But you popped on the tape a year ago, and he just rushes smack dab into the middle of the tackle's stomach every time, and that you can't win. And he had a decent year last year doing that, but which only tells you if he learns how to use his hands and use his ability to move better, then I think he has a chance to get 13, 14 sacks. And so, yeah, I do think he's going to have a big year, and he's a really good, tough, physical football player. That you're going to get from him year in and year out.
Yeah, I think the big question with this team defensively is probably not the frontline guys. I think both those ends are going to be good. I think Aluakun and Devin Lloyd are good, Pete. I love their safety combination of Johnson and obviously Cisco. The question is, defense is a rotating spot, right? You got to rotate defensive linemen in there. You rotate nickels in there. Is there enough volume on you know what I mean? Is there enough volume with the defense? Somebody gets hurt, you're in sub package. Isn't that kind of the question about that defense?
Yeah, and I think Lloyd too. I mean, you mentioned Lloyd. I think Lloyd's got it. This is his year to take a step up, or there's a big problem. I mean, this is an enormous year for him, and he looks like he's in the best shape that I've seen him in. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. But yeah, you got to have depth because you're going to have injuries. That's a given. I mean, but they have some young, how's the young kid from LSU look so far? I mean, I think he's just uber talented.
Yeah, hard to tell. Mason Smith's hard for me to tell much.
Yeah, I mean, he looks great physically, but yeah, I mean, and Tuesday's their first day in pads, so we'll start to know a little bit more then.
But he's one of those guys that I was talking about at the top, Pete. They look long and strong and physical, and they have not. Look, they weren't a physical team last year. In fact, realistically, other than the injuries, the Achilles heel of that team is they got pushed around. I mean, they got pushed around, and so they look like a team on the hoof that won't get pushed around.
Is Hamilton back to being a big wide body in the middle of it?
Sure looks the part.
Yeah, he's back.
He sure looks it, and I've been told they think he's back, which is really important.
Well, and he looked like before all that stuff happened with his back and everything, he looked like last year was going to be his big time.
Yeah, he did.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they get that from him. And they get the other, the veteran playing next to him playing hard. You can rotate guys in there. They have plenty of big bodies. They should be much better on the defensive line. How are they playing the nickel so far?
They've rotated guys in and out.
Yeah, it's hard to say. The coordinator met with us yesterday and was like, there really isn't any depth chart yet. We're working a bunch of combos. So
have you watched Savage work in there?
Yeah, I mean, he's in a non-contact.
Right.
Even though they're not in pads. So, I mean, I would think it's going to eventually be Savage.
Yeah.
But
that's the one I don't like. I don't like that one.
Yeah.
I like him. I think he's a good football player. I just don't think you line him up against a good slot receiver. I think that's going to be a problem. That's just my opinion.
That's of all the things out there, that's the one thing that will be interesting to watch in the both the joint practices against the Bucs and the preseason games. Doug said he's going to play the starter some. Well, that's a starter, Pete, that if Darnell Savage is the nickel, that I would imagine he's going to play. He's going to play a lot of reps because they got to figure that out too, right? I mean, to your point, they went and got a guy that was a safety and very clearly targeted him as a nickel. That's your point, right? It's a different position. Now I hear you, and so that's one that they're confident of. But we'll watch that in the preseason for sure. So we'll see. All right. So what's the training schedule for you? You coming here? Going to Tampa? What are we doing?
Yeah, I'm going. I'm doing Miami Monday. I'm doing Tampa, and then I'll be over there.
Okay. So
I think the end of the week, Friday.
Very good. Look forward to seeing you, Pete. Thanks, buddy.
You got it. All right, guys.
Pete Prisco from CBSSports.com is always brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Again, you can see him at Phillips and Shad, beautiful big store, and see him on all the social channels: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Hays has headlines on the other side. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now, a 1010XL Summer Olympic Update brought to you by USAPark.net Airport Parking.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games. The rain in Paris didn't put a damper on the glitz and glamour of the opening ceremony, with more than 10,000 athletes from 206 countries parading on boats down the River Seine. France, as the host, had the honor of being last in line, with Team USA in the penultimate position as the host of the next Summer Games in 2028. The flag bearers, 39-year-old LeBron James and 20-year-old Coco Gauff, who was the youngest American athlete ever to carry the flag in an opening ceremony. 592 athletes comprise Team USA, the most for any delegation at these games. Katie Ledecky leads the Americans with 10 career medals coming into Paris. She'll have a shot at number 11 tomorrow in the 400-meter freestyle, the first of her 4 events. Ledecky needs 3 medals to become the most decorated of American women in Olympic history. With the Summer Games update, I'm Brett.
It's one thing falling in love with a house, picturing yourself moving in and calling it home, and quite another navigating the world of price negotiating, mortgage lenders, and finding the budget that works best for you. An agent who's a realtor can make understanding that world easier. Realtors have the expertise, access to proprietary data, and tools to help you get from imagining living somewhere to actually doing it. That's the kind of help we can provide, because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
If there's one sale I'm always going to shop, it's Kohl's Friends and Family Sale. I just saved an extra 25% because I spent $75. But even if you spend less, you can still save with 20%. And Kohl's has everything you need for summer fun. I got a cute dress for myself, a casual polo for my husband, and a ninja creamy that we can't wait to use. Oh, and I earned Kohl's cash. Kohl's. Your Friends and Family Sale never fails me. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. Offer ends July 28th. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
It's time to fire up your grills, shoot off some fireworks, and launch one of the biggest sales in the history of the United States. It's our Independence Sale happening right now at Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet. Whether you drive a car, a truck, or an EV, everyone is welcome to celebrate our Independence Sale with the lowest prices, largest inventory, and the most love for our country. Come celebrate with Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. You don't want to miss this.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Nick in here for About 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of About 9. Visit About 9 Associates today and experience the difference. About 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, poker players. The Card Player Poker Tour is heading back to Best Bet Jacksonville from August 15th to the 26th. The tournament schedule is packed with excitement, featuring 9 events, including the $1,700 no-limit hold'em mystery bounty main event with a $300,000 guaranteed prize pool. Head to bestbetjacks.com for the full schedule and satellite information. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center will get your sex life back in just one visit. Their painless, breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Prime Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your sex life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 904-902-8222. 904-902-8222. To regain your sex life in just one visit, call now. 904-902-8222.
Fish are good at hiding. Captain Kevin can help you find them.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Find more fish on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show.
Thursday nights at 6.
Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss on 1010XL AM.
Beard's Diamonds' incredible Christmas and July sale is back.
Everything store-wide is on sale, up to an unbelievable 40% off.
But it's only happening till July 31st.
Don't shop anywhere until you shop Beard's Diamonds.
At the St. John's Town Center.
If the Florida heat is getting you down and you're sweating up a storm, fire up a phone call to Florida Home AC and order an AC tune-up. It's the best way to beat the heat and keep your AC unit working at peak performance. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com for their tune-up special and make sure you're primed for the peak of that heat. Florida Home AC, the official AC provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and just a phone call away at 777-4300. Order that tune-up today.
Visionaries, builders, and doers, are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
The Reggie Hunt Memorial Golf Classic fundraiser golf tournament is Friday, October 25th at Amelia River Golf Club. All proceeds support Big Brothers Big Sisters. Register at the Big Brothers Big Sisters events page.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harold & Harold. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank is here. JJ is here. I am Hays Carlyon. Appreciate our friends at Harold & Harold. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you ever do or a loved one, give them a call at 251-1111. The Olympic Cauldron is getting ready to get lit here in Paris, but we are going to start with our Jaguars. Frank, day 3 practice observations. You liked what you saw from Tank Bigsby?
That's probably what jumped off the page the first to me. I think there's something there. I mean, I think he might be a very good, not serviceable. I think he might be a good NFL back, and if he is, the balance between he and Travis Etienne, from whom we heard today, I think can be special. That Brenton Strange, I think, looks like a better player than he was. I think this might be a year to focus on some of those draft picks from a year ago. Tyler Lacey, that there's something there, but not enough there. Parker Washington, there's a bunch of them that are going to be on the team this year. Ventrell Miller, a bunch of guys that are going to be on the team this year that you could tell there was something there. Ventrell was gone the whole year, but you saw him in camp.
And maybe Hodges.
Yeah, correct. So it's Cooper Hodges. So I think there's that group is what I'm watching, and they've all impressed in their own way, at least for me.
Yeah, good stuff. Press Taylor, the offensive coordinator, met with the media prior to practice. Says he likes rookie receiver Brian Thomas's retention. Good to hear that.
I think Brian Thomas is going to be good. The game's a little fast for him now, as it's supposed to be. The NFL's fast. And you can tell a little bit that the game's a little fast for him. He hadn't played at this level before. But I think Brian Thomas is going to be a very good player. I'm excited to see him in that teal uniform.
Tight end Evan Ingram met with reporters following practice and said he wants to get more vertical down the field. I think he's going to have his opportunities to do that.
Well, that's the one thing offense-wide this team was missing. There were a couple deep balls to Calvin Ridley, but that's the one thing that this offense missed overall. And boy, if Evan Ingram can get vertical, because that's one of the main reasons, I'll still say this, Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr., who we just talked about, one of the main reasons they're here is to stretch the field. So if your tight end does that too, that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's get it to a early flashback. Normally we save these for later, but this one is Jags related. Appreciate our friend Charles Fenwick sending me this. The Jags unveiled their new video boards 10 years ago today as part of their $63 million stadium upgrade. How about that?
It was 10
years ago. They had the
ago.
Carrie Underwood concert and the Fulham game here.
I remember being there.
Isn't that hard to believe?
Yeah,
10 years ago.
I had forgotten the Carrie Underwood. That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, you're exactly in the
Isn't that hard to believe?
Yeah, you know what? Wow, 10. And that was it the same year? The Pools were after that.
The Pools were. That's a good question.
I think the scoreboards came before the Pools.
I think you're right.
Yeah, they're right after.
I think
shortly
right.
after.
Yeah. And that would make sense because this is Shad's 12th year.
Yeah.
So I think the scoreboards were the first massive thing, and then the Pools and Cabanas followed. Yep. Let's get it to around the NFL. Tua gets paid 4 years, $212.4 million, including $167 million in guaranteed money. Got slightly less than Trevor. Frank, what do you think about the deal for the Dolphins?
Yeah. Look, he's a good guy to root for. He's I like Tua. I'm not sold on Tua. And now look, in today's day and age, you have to do it. If you have a young quarterback and you want him to be your quarterback for a while, you have no choice, Hays. You extend your guy. But I don't know that I think he's a great player. I guess that more than anything. I guess that's what stands out for me. I don't know that I think he's a great player. We'll see.
Yeah, and can he stay healthy? Obviously, that'll be week 1, Trevor Lawrence versus Tua Tagovailoa, so it should be a lot of fun. Another Dolphins note, also a Jaguars note, also a local note. Former Jaguars linebacker and Oakleaf standout Shaq Quarterman worked out today for the Dolphins, so hopefully Shaq will get signed.
I hope he does. He worked out for the Titans, I think, recently. The Dolphins today. He's trying. Shaq's a good man, a tough physical player. Still had one of the biggest hits on Derrick Henry I think I've ever seen anyone lay. But he doesn't run, and it's hard. It's hard in this league, Hays, when you don't run particularly fast to play football, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. It just is. But I'm rooting for Shaq. He's a good guy. He's a Jacksonville guy, and I hope he makes it.
On the injury front, Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson remains out of practice with an illness. The Ravens opened camp before the Jaguars, and Lamar tried like one day to go, gave it about an hour, and had to stop. It's probably nothing overly concerning, but a little concerning, right? That your quarterback has missed the first 4 days with an illness. It seems like he gets sick often, and obviously he's a tremendous player.
Yeah.
But a tough start to camp for Lamar Jackson from a health standpoint.
Yeah, it's July. I would say this: if you're ill Football's hard, man, and it's hot. I don't care where you are. It's hot. I'm guessing in Owings Mills, Maryland, it's pretty hot, just like it's hot here. So, yeah, it gets hot. And so why? That's the last guy you want to rush. You know what you got in Lamar, so we'll see.
Yeah, massive injury news. Our first actual really injury, not an illness, but something actually going wrong. Lions kicker Michael Badgley out for the season with a torn hamstring. Ouch. For a kicker. So
out for the year.
Yeah. So if if the Lions want Riley Patterson, it'll take 2 1s and 2 2s.
Well, and they had him in camp last year.
and they're
so
very familiar with him.
So there's that.
Yeah. So
I would say. Yeah, at least. At least. I wouldn't mind a 3 a couple years down the road, but yeah, that's close.
Isn't that funny, though, that like the first substantial injury in terms of a guy being out for, well, I guess there's been some reserve corners, but
a torn hamstring for a year.
Yeah,
a
hamstring.
Not just a pulled one, a torn one. You don't hear that very often.
You don't. And we watch the kickers practice. I mean, they don't. It's like, what are you doing to tear your hamstring?
Hamstrings take you down 3-4 weeks at times.
Yeah.
Not for a year.
Not for 6 months. Yeah. So it was obviously tough for Michael Badgley, but out for the season. Lions looking for a new kicker. In Major League Baseball, the Phillies acquire former JU standout Austin Hays in a deal with the Orioles.
Yeah, I love Austin Hays. Plays hard. Wasn't having a great year. 3 home runs. Did not do a lot. He looked like he was going to be a staple for that Orioles team. Now kind of a spot starter. But yeah, good JU guy. And look, boy, the Phillies are good, by the way. I mean, that's 2 good teams that made a deal there. But the Phillies just got a little bit better.
The Dodgers made a move. They traded pitcher James Paxton back to the Red Sox. Paxton had pitched for them last season. Yeah. Does that move the needle for you at all?
He's 35. He's been around. The Dodgers traded him. They don't need him, And so, I think the Red Sox will be in one of those wild card spots. He could win a game for him. Then a veteran guy. These veteran guys, like every other sport, Hayes, they're better in the postseason because they're accustomed to being there. So, but this is a 35-year-old left-hander. I'm not sure how much he's got left.
Let's get it to the Olympics. We are underway. The cauldron just was lit, so the Paris Games have started. They're probably 3-4 hours into this thing now. Lady Gaga performed a few hours back. It's been a racy and wild opening ceremony, so very French. If you have not watched any of it yet, you've got some intriguing things coming.
Is that Celine Dion?
Yeah, Celine Dion is performing right now. And so it is official. The Olympics are underway. Give you a note in gymnastics. Simone Biles has submitted a new uneven bars maneuver for judges. If she executes it, it will be the 6th move named after her and the first on bars. The gymnastics portion of the Olympics starts on Sunday.
Yeah, you know what? And there's not a lot of I'll watch the basketball. I always watch swimming and women's gymnastics and track and field, men's and women's. But there's not a lot of names I know to watch. Simone Biles is probably, if you're not talking basketball, people at the top of that list. Parker Valby, the Florida. The Gators have a lot of people there. But so, yeah, the Olympics are here, man.
Yeah.
And I'll watch my share. I really will.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. We'll get it to pop culture. Happy birthday to Mick Jagger, who turns 81 today.
No, he doesn't.
81.
You're making stuff up again. Is that right?
It's incredible.
Yeah, because he moves around like he's 21.
He was running all over the stage when I saw him a month ago in Orlando. Just an incredible performer, unbelievable longevity, and
maybe one of the greatest. You don't name guys who are in bands as prominently as you do individuals. So he's not going to be named as prominently as Elvis or Michael Jackson, but quite frankly, one of the greatest rock icons of all time.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So Mick Jagger, 81 years old today. We will get you out on this musical note. Billy Joel played his 150th and final show at Madison Square Garden on Thursday night. The 75-year-old Joel has played MSG every month since 2014, excluding the pandemic. Axl Rose joined Joel in his usual guest spot. They performed Paul McCartney's Live and Let Die, AC/DC's Highway to Hell, before Joel's classic You May Be Right. What an end of an era. You got to think Billy Joel will come back. Somebody even kind of said, he said it under his breath, that this won't be our last one. But there is nothing else scheduled for Billy Joel. 150 shows at Madison Square Garden.
And I will tell you, I saw one of them. There's a magic to Billy Joel in the Garden that's hard to match. I've seen him other places too. But to see Billy Joel in the Garden, if there's one thing that I'm very glad I got checked off the bucket list, I'm telling you, Hayes, and I told you right after, nothing like, especially because I tell you, when this is playing, when Only the Good Die Young, the whole place is jumping around. It's amazing, amazing, amazing. Billy Joel in the Garden. Great way to end it. Nice job, as always, per usual, with headlines. Take a break. We got one segment to go. We'll have it for you after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brett Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris set to get officially underway with opening ceremonies on Friday night. The United States, the overwhelming betting favorite to win more gold medals than any other country. The United States at minus 950 to capture more golds, while China is at plus 350. Great Britain at plus 4,200. Japan plus 5,500. Host country France at plus 8,000. As far as overall medals, the United States once again the favorites to capture more than any other country at minus 2,000, while China is plus 1,300 to win the most medals. This update brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are looking for top talent to join our team. If you are a plumber, CDL driver, or have experience installing septic drain fields, come join Duck Rooter and let's win together. We offer our players a full package that includes excellent weekly pay, paid holidays, health insurance, and new state-of-the-art equipment. Log on to duckduckrooter.com and click on the careers page to apply. That's duckduckrooter.com. Duck Rooter is an equal opportunity employer.
Folks, this summer, happiness is a new Chevy. That's right, a new Chevy Silverado from Nimnick Chevrolet. Get this. This month, you can save up to $8,500 off a new Silverado. Or, well-qualified buyers can get rates as low as 1.9% financing on all new Silverado 1500 model. And that's with the largest inventory on the ground, outstanding cash incentives, and the best price guarantee. Your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnick Chevrolet. Now remember, Nimnick will always give you top dollar for your trade, and for a limited time, up to an additional $2,250 in trade assistance. Want an even better deal? Well, ask about Demo Model for even deeper discounts. You can shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership conveniently located at the corner of Park and Cabot. This summer, happiness is a new Chevy. So head to Nimnick Chevrolet today. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
Big Chief Tire makes auto care affordable with 6-month financing on their CFNA card, plus $50 off your next service. Frank Frangie here. With no interest for 6 months, now is the perfect time to take care of your vehicle. Whether you need new tires, brakes, or general checkup, their skilled technicians have you covered. Visit BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 to learn more and schedule an appointment at one of their 5 locations. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. Johns County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there's there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
It's storm season, and JEA is committed to keeping you informed. In the event of a storm, we'll text and email you about the status of your services. We use Facebook and Twitter to post real-time updates. Our live outage map on JEA.com lets you track restoration progress. And as crews work to restore services, our storm outreach team will be in local neighborhoods to answer your questions. Because as your community utility, JEA is here to keep you safe and connected. Your community, your utility.
When you're hungry for midday sports talk, share a table with Helmets and Heels.
It's a bad idea to travel on an empty stomach.
Mia, Lauren, and Taylor.
We like hungry.
Switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010 XL.
This is Chelsea with Renewal by Andersen Custom Windows and Doors. Here's what people are saying about working with us.
Installers were professional, courteous, and efficient.
Great customer service. On time, explained the process, and walked me through the installation. Amazing team.
Our experience with Renewal by Andersen was outstanding from the beginning to end.
Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com.
License number CGC 1527613.
Renewal by Andersen, custom windows and doors.
It's the coolest week to save during the summer fan sale at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Buy one fan, save 10%. Buy two, save 15%. Buy three or more and save 20% off all fans at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Showroom near the Avenues.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Cross, I'm thinking about changing my name.
Again? You're already the media mogul, the straw that stirs the drink, the Duke of Pablo Bay. Now what?
Refer to me as Dreamfinders Danny Hicken.
What in the blazes? Is this a cash grab?
No, it's just that I believe so much in Dreamfinders Homes. 20 locations in Northeast Florida, official home builder of Jags and Gators. Great opportunity for first-time homeowners.
All right. Dreamfinders Danny it is.
Did I mention the lowest interest rates you can find? Visit DreamfindersHomes.com. Now let Dreamfinders Danny celebrate through the majesty of song. Dreamfinders, I believe they will build your home just right.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 87.
All right, we cool down by telling you where we've been today on the program. We have zipped around. Matt Paulus was here from JOI. Always great to catch up with Matt, one of the good guys out there. Talked all about hip replacement surgeries, what it means for people that are, my age. But a lot of people are having it, and it's a really cool thing. So it's always good to have Matt stop by. Hays caught up with Travis Etienne. Terrific interview per usual. Good to hear from the outstanding running back. Boy, I think he's going to have a big year. I think he's a really good player. I think he's one of the 5 to 8 best running backs in the league. I think he doesn't get enough attention and a very underrated Jaguar. Pete Prisco stopped by to talk NFL. Always good to catch up with Pete. And Hayes had headlines and all kind of fun stuff coming up there. So that's what we did today. That is the cool down from everywhere we have been. You and I were talking during the break because you ended headlines with the Billy Joel finale in the Garden. Tell a quick synopsis of what you said because you read a story about it.
About Variety had this.
How local those events are.
Yeah, it was really cool. The author did a really good job. So it's his 150th show. He's been playing MSG every month since 2014. Obviously, they had an interruption during the pandemic, but it's basically been a residency, an unofficial residency for a decade in Madison Square Garden. He's the only artist that does it, and it talked about how New Yorkers, it's not really a touristy thing, that New Yorkers go. And so there was a real community feeling at the end of this being his 150th show there of people, groups of men and women that this is how they met. And, it was incredibly emotional for them that this was going to be, Billy kind of hedged it and was like, we'll see. Right. But at least for now, this is the final show at Madison Square Garden. So it was really cool the picture that was painted in the story about it.
Well, I can tell, and by the way, what he's probably saying is that doesn't mean he won't ever play the Garden again. That's the finale of this tour, this residency. I will tell you, having gone to it, and it's you described it perfectly. It's not a touristy thing. It's not like when the Stones come here and everybody's coming from Valdosta and Savannah and Orlando, and it's not like that. It's have you been? Do you know New York very well? You know, JJ, you know New York a little bit, right? The Manhattan area.
No,
you don't know it. Okay. It's in Herald Square, which is in Manhattan, but it's not. It's probably a mile and a half walk from Times Square. But hey, it's right near the Empire State Building. Madison Square is right. There's Madison Square, then there's Herald Square, and then there's the Empire State Building. It's all right in there together. And it's business, to your point, Hays, it's business as usual right around there until that night. And then once you get there, it is packed, and it is New Yorkers. I'm glad you said that, because that's what it is. And there's a charm to it, man. It's hard to explain. To your point about the residency, he comes out and says, "Hi, I'm Billy. We're the house band," and that kicks it all off. And it's real. Again, it's a magical. Now I'm a big Billy Joel fan, obviously, but it's a magical show, and it's a great event. So I hope people got to go see it. You know, I would say New York is New York, but I would say some of the best things musically I've ever seen were in New York. I saw Springsteen on Broadway. It'll be a memory of a lifetime. I saw seeing the Billy Joel residency. So it's cool stuff. But I'm glad you brought it up. Well done, no question about it. Speaking of New York, Citi Field, can you win the series, JJ? Is there any possibility?
No. I think maybe they'll get one win out of 4.
Is it a 4-game?
Yeah.
Is it so? It goes through Monday, or is it dealt?
No, yesterday was Thursday.
Oh, they played yesterday and they lost. That's right. Good point.
Never doubt the Atlanta Braves.
Wow, just can you win one game? Wow. What a world we're into. The Braves may not win one game.
I guess you're every 25 years you're gonna have a season like this.
Yeah, that's right.
Where just
the Braves,
everything goes.
The
wrong.
Braves have been fine. What about Barkley? So where does he? What does it make? Does he wind up on the ESPN group?
I'm gonna say Amazon.
You think?
I mean,
they're creating something new,
and
so who knows what it'll be?
And I think they will probably be willing to say, "Here's a blank check.
Yeah.
Fill it out, and we'll then." Start the relationship from there, and I think that it's going to be very appealing.
So, because right now the ESPN ABC pregame show has 74 people on it.
He won't do that.
I can't imagine
unless they completely reimagine. And I'm sure he is, but I would imagine the behind closed doors. We want to get you to Amazon. That's probably where it's going to go. But we have to play the game and talk to the other two.
You don't see him next to Stephen A? No, that would be bad. That would be.
I mean,
because they'd be fighting for the spotlight.
That's the thing.
Even one thing Shaq and Kenny know,
they get it.
They defer to.
Yeah, they
Chuck.
get it that we're the drummer and the bassist, and he's the front man.
That's exactly.
And Ernie's
Stephen A. would not get that.
Yeah, would not get that. So I think. I honestly, if I was Amazon, it would be Charles, build the show. Here's
who do you want the host to be?
Here's double the money you were making.
Yeah,
and let's build the show. We'll do everything we can to get the talent that you want around you.
NBC's gonna in the package, but NBC's too old for Chuck, isn't it? Even Tirico, who probably hosted, is a good guy and a great host. Tirico, and I love Tirico, but does Tirico and Barkley work? You'd have to have again. There's gonna be 4 people.
I think it could work, and I think it could work well, but I just don't think that's where. I don't think that's the fit.
Yeah.
I think and again, I mean,
Amazon feels right though. I hear you. I get it. Feels right.
It feels
Charles Barkley on Amazon feels right.
It's the next. It's certainly the next wave. Like JJ is. I mean, in the waves here. I mean, obviously most people have Amazon Prime, and so I just think that. I think that's where he'll end up. I mean, that honestly, it was probably like almost a wink that Amazon's gonna. They were probably surprised TNT even matched it, but I'm sure everything is gonna. The NFL, I mean, went out of their way to please Amazon in terms of the Thursday nights, and then the matchups weren't great, so they gave Amazon a much better schedule. So these leagues are really doing everything they can to make Amazon feel like, you're on par with our decades-long partners that we've had. And so, I think it's going to be Barkley to Amazon. I'm sure that's what the league would like to see as well, because, who isn't going to tune in to watch Charles Barkley talk about the NBA?
I wonder if we're ever coming to where. Will television ever get to where everything streams?
Yes.
You think it will?
Oh, I mean, they'll still have
networks.
No, I guess the answer would be no.
We'll have networks.
You'll always be able to watch free television.
Yeah,
the government will never just take that fully away, but so you'll still have the ability, but
because cable is what's being replaced. To JJ's point a few days ago, and cable's not free television.
Correct.
You pay for cable.
Yes.
Yeah. So cable and satellite are not free television.
Right.
CBS, ABC, and NBC are free television. That's your point.
Yes.
And so it'll be interesting to see. I like Barkley. I think I could see him with Tirico. I could see I don't see him with Stephen A. Smith.
I don't either. I think that'd be a disaster.
Yeah. Who talks? Who does more? So by the way, Skip Bertman's out. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah. Skip Bertman. Skip. I'm drawing a blank. Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless is out.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think it just probably reached its end. Yeah. I mean, it honestly probably went 10 years longer than it should have.
Yeah.
Because he sort of became a character of himself.
Yeah.
I mean, he just sort of lost.
When he was on Stephen A., it was better than now.
Well, and it got to the point where like people were literally taking like a Skip Bayless soundbite of talking about one thing and being against it, and then taking a Skip Bayless soundbite and talking about him being for it. He had done it for so long.
Right.
And I think in the need to always try to be, how can I make this take as hot as possible?
Yeah.
It ended up being like I just think when you're going to broadcast like that, you're going to have an expiration date.
Yeah.
And I think to his credit, he's made a ton of money. He's had an unbelievable career. But I just don't know that you can keep that pace for that long and still be fresh and relevant and have most of the sports audience want to hear what you're saying. I'm sure he still has his fans and he should, but to me it felt like it got stale. And so I frankly am surprised it got all the way to 2024, but good for him.
Yeah, the sports television business and the opinion business in television has gone young. It always goes young. So with the exception of Howard Stern, who will do it till he's 100, most people in the televised opinion business, whether it's sports, politics, whatever, are not old people anymore.
Yeah. And there's not even like a Stern like younger counterpart. Like there's nothing else like when he does decide that's it. I don't think there's anybody else. I don't follow it all that closely, but I can't think of anybody in pop culture that's in radio that. So I mean, it's a credit to Skip Bayless for having the run that he's had.
I agree.
But I think it's definitely time. I mean, if I was running a TV network, I would have no interest in Skip Bayless.
Yeah. Is he supposed to land anywhere? Or is there?
I don't know. I would think.
There's no word that he is, right?
I mean, maybe he'll go, work for Live Golf. Who knows? Cash a big check from the Saudis.
JJ, what about the hoops team? When do they play? Is it 11 Sunday? Something like that, right?
I know it's in the morning. Yeah, I'll look it up.
Are you locked in? Are you playing? Is it appointment? It's not appointment viewing for you?
No.
Not even a peek? Not even a look in?
No.
How about you?
Yeah. I mean, I'll if I am watching TV, I will definitely for the next couple of weeks start with the Olympics and see if there's anything there. But I'm not going to like set my alarm or anything for events. So I'll have to just organically bump into it. But yeah, I like the Olympics. So I'll probably watch a good bit of it.
Yeah. So give me,
11:15.
What? Okay. 11:15 Sunday morning. What's your order of preference? Hoops one?
I wouldn't say it is.
Okay.
Because I watch basketball all the time, throughout the year. So I'm curious and I will watch it. But I like the gymnastics and swimming and track and field, and because I don't watch those sports, so it's like I haven't watched any of that in 4 years. So and those stories mean more. Like it's. I hope Team USA, the men's basketball team, I hope they win the gold. But it's not like a career-defining achievement for any of those guys.
That's right.
Whereas if you're a gymnast or you're a swimmer or a track and field athlete, I mean, this is your Super Bowl.
That's right.
I mean, imagine if we only had the Super Bowl every 4 years.
This would be it, yeah.
I mean, so to me, there's just so much more raw emotion and intensity with those competitions.
Folks, that's our program. Have a great weekend. We'll be out at camp tomorrow, and then we'll be back in here Monday to tell you all about that and all about the sports weekend. Don't go anywhere. Rick Ballou is next. We're out of here. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.